How many speakers have you owned? That is the question for today. I mean, if you've been an audiophile for a while, however you measure a while, how many speakers have you owned? Now, I haven't done that in a while, but partially because I don't own the speakers that I live with now. They're on loan. Sometimes they stick around for 6 months or a year, and then they're out, and something else takes their place as a reference. But I don't know, maybe of speakers that I've bought and paid for, I would say I've probably owned 20 to 25 pairs of speakers. Some of them came and went pretty quickly. Some of them stuck around for years and years. Like the ones that stayed here for a long time that I bought were my Snell A's. That was the first really big long-term commitment speaker for me. I had quad 63s for a really long time. Those are the ones, those are the really long-term ones. There were others that were around. I had a bunch of Gallo speakers, Gallo acoustic speakers, but the ones that stick around, yeah, was the Snell, the quad, and the Gallo. And then I became a reviewer, and then things changed around all the time. I did have a set of Dynaudio Special 25s for a long time, but when I was done, I sent them back to Dynaudio. But the question is about you today, enough about me. How many speakers have you owned? And were they long-term relationships, or did they come and go really fast? And, you know, how many different types of speakers have you owned? You know, everybody's owned box speakers because those are the most common speakers. But for panels, were they electrostatics or magnepans? Were they omnidirectional? Were they horns? Did they have plasma tweeters or super tweeters? You know, that's the thing about owning a lot of speakers is what is it that's actually happening when you change the speakers? And I think the biggest single thing that happens when you go from one speaker to the next, even if it's the same type, like one box speaker to another box speaker, is their dispersion. How they put sound in the room changes the way they sound, because the less they put into the room, meaning bouncing off the floor and the walls and the ceiling, the more direct the sound is from you, from the speaker to your ears, the less room there is. That sounds a lot different than when you're just listening to a sea of reflections. Even in small amounts, more reflections can just give it more space, more size, more depth. Or very direct sounding speakers like electrostatics can be pretty beamy. They can sound more intimate, clear, more transparent because there's less bouncing around. But the point is, you know, I guess the question here is, what are you looking for when you change the speakers? You want a new sound, I get that. I've made videos about that a lot, but are you just restless? Maybe that's what's going on, the people who change all the time. I certainly am, and that's why it kind of dovetailed nicely with my career as a reviewer, because there's always a lot of different things going through this room. My entire reviewing career took place in this room. I never was a reviewer before I lived here. But, well, what do we want? What are we looking for? We're looking for reality? Is that what you're looking for? Well, good luck. I don't know that you're going to get there, certainly by changing speakers. You get different sounds, but in terms of really getting closer to the illusion, you know, falling away, and you're just hearing live music being performed in your room, coming over a set of stereo speakers or even multi-channel speakers, I don't know. I don't think that that's really possible. And maybe if that's what you're doing and searching for and are disappointed over and over again, maybe you should stop because you're not going to get there. I think the problems with trying to reproduce reality over a set of stereo speakers are twofold. One is that the recordings themselves are not made with that in mind. People don't make recordings, for the most part, that are trying to capture reality of people playing together in a room. Audiophile recordings, those Chesky reference recordings, MA recordings, yeah, they are, and even they fail. But just a regular standard issue Steely Dan or Radiohead, they're not trying to sound like people playing together in a room. They're just not. It's not ever going to come out of a speaker if it wasn't part of what went into making the recording in the first place. I think this is more about a search for pleasure. That's what this is. It's a search for making music coming out of the speakers that makes you feel something, that makes you feel good, makes you connect to the music, have a sense of euphoria of the music, makes you want to dance to the music, think, have a reaction to the music that's just so exciting. Now for me right now and for the last couple of years, that happens most with horn speakers. And I've done a lot of klipsches, and I think there's more klipsches coming soon into this room. But a friend of mine reminded me, Steve, what about JBL? You haven't done any JBL horns in a while. And I was like, yeah, I got to get back to those JBL horns. Because the thing about horns, there's not that many companies that make horn speakers. Certainly in the affordable range, I would say, yeah, JBL and Klipsch. Once you get out of affordable, however you define it, then you get into, you know, avant-garde acoustics. Yeah, there's other companies that make horns, but in terms of affordable horns, JBL, Klipsch. So for me, that's what's, you know, lit up my tree, is hearing the sound of horns. But you know, I'm open to suggestion. I love the sound of the Magnepan LRS, and that's the furthest thing from a horn. It's a flat panel speaker, but it has some life to it, some electric, like this is happening now sound that really gets my juices flowing. So it's not, even for me, not exclusively a horn phenomenon, this engagement factor. So if you're still on the journey, you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out what it is that makes this worth getting up to every day, or sit down to listen to every night. What is it that makes you want to keep coming back for more? If you've got answers to that question, please leave them in the comments section below. And after that, all I can say is, my name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you've just stumbled upon this channel for the first time, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Subscribe, hit that button right down there. And when you do, you'll see a little icon of a bell. That means hit that bell. Hit that bell, make it ring, and then you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. But if you want more, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at audiophiliacman. You can follow me on Instagram at steve.guttenberg. Best of all, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/audiophiliac. Then I can just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here again very, 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 very soon. See ya.